Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Every Day is Friday, the show where we dive into the stories and experiences from people from all walks of life. One punch, 2 seconds. Bare-knuckle fighter Justin Watson wastes no time for the win. Known as the owner of the fastest knockout in combat sports history, Justin is here to share his incredible journey. Let's dive in. Justin, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing wonderful. For the listeners who may not be familiar with your line of work yet, could you give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
My name's Justin Watson. I'm a professional fighter. I fight for BKFC, which is Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, one of the biggest combat sports promotions on the planet. It's bare knuckle boxing, basically. So it's just punching without gloves on. Basically, just boxing without gloves on.
Yeah, what first inspired you to start that career in combat sports?
I started doing MMA in probably 2007, 2008, training. Just always enjoyed combat sports, martial arts. And then, over the years, it just transitioned into this, got an opportunity, on a big stage. And so I jumped after it.
No, that's great how you jumped after it. You switched over from MMA to bare knuckle fighting. I mean, how did that transition into bare knuckle fighting after the MMA go?
I mean, decent, I'm a striker in MMA. So, my grappling was always my weaker spot. So to get rid of that was a welcomed journey. Um, and I've got a lot of power in my hands, so this kind of just worked out just pretty well.
No, I mean stepping into bare knuckle fighting must have been like both you got to have courage and confidence to step into that ring. Yeah, I mean, can you walk us through like the moment of your record-breaking 2 second knockout?
Yeah, this was obviously, I knew about this fight for about 2 months. So it was something that had been planning from the beginning, was just go in here and try to set this record. I knew I needed to do something big to make a name for myself. Just getting older, and so I don't have a ton of opportunities left. So, as to grab the bull by the horns right now, per se. So, um, obviously plans don't always work out the way you want them to. So there was a plan B, but the plan was to go in there and touch him as fast as possible. And I had a good feeling that if I could touch him, then I could probably put him to sleep right away. So we got in there. He kind of threw a little bit of a jab and ducked his head sideways. So I kind of had to chase him with that right hand, as he kind of moved out of the way. So it hit him kind of right in the back of the ear and on the side of the jaw, and just put him out. He face planted. For people who don't, know the sport very well, obviously everybody knows, if you go to fall forward, you're going to put your hands out. It's just a natural. There's no way to not do that. You can't force yourself. You put your hands behind your back, you're going to put them down. So when you see somebody hit face first and they kiss the canvas like that, they're asleep. So the referee saw that and knew right away this is over. It would have just been, there's no reason to let that fight continue. It would have been detrimental to him to get hit again. So the damage was done, and everything worked out perfectly, just like planned.
Wow, it's incredible that you seized the opportunity so quickly.
Yeah, man. I like I said, I knew I had to go in there and really do something special to make a name for myself, and um, I wasn't going to waste any time.
You definitely did. What was going through your mind before the fight? And do you mind me asking what is your walk-up song?
This time I walked out to "Mama Said Knock You Out," and it was, just because that was the plan. Like, the plan was to go in there and put him to sleep. Beforehand it was just, I don't know, I was calm. I knew, deep down I knew what was about to happen. The night before at weigh-ins, he made a remark about asking somebody what he needed to do to be at the post fight press conference. So I piped up and told him he wasn't going to be going to the post fight press conference. That made him pretty mad, and he kind of got in my face, tried to come after me a little bit. So then when it was time to face off, I just got right in his face, and I could see right then he was already, he already knew what was about to happen also. So the night of the fight, man, I was, cool, calm, and collected all night, just ready to go in there and take care of business. Um, I embraced everything about it, the walkout, the introduction, took my time out there and in all that part, and then didn't take my time in the fight.
No, your mindset clearly sets you apart from your competition. I mean, how do you mentally and physically prepare for a bare knuckle fight?
Um, for me, I've been fighting for a long time. So being a bare knuckle, for a lot of people, it seems a lot more brutal or barbaric or whatever, but I've been doing MMA for years, and you get kicked in the face with a shin that has no protection, or a knee to the face, and there's no padding on that knee. So this is actually much safer than regular boxing. It's safer than MMA as far as, more, you get a lot of lacerations, a lot of cuts and superficial injuries. But as far as, major damage, you're really not getting that many. There's not nearly as many, just like cold knockouts because guys have to preserve how hard they're hitting without the gloves and the wrap, being super thick. You can break your hands really easy on somebody's forehead, So there's a whole bunch of things that go into it uh, that cause it to be, safer than other sports. When you really break it down, it looks a little bit more brutal, um, but ultimately it's actually safer than a lot of these other sports.
It really shows why you're able to perform at such a high level. I mean, what's your training schedule look like for bare knuckle fighting?
I train 5 days a week. I teach kids and train, so I'm at the gym every day. Work, 40 hours. Basically, I get up at 7 a.m., go to work, work all day till 5 o'clock, go straight to the gym, teach kids classes, and then do my thing until about 8 or 8:30, get home at 8:39 every night, and then just do it again.
No, that's impressive. Really impressive. I
Yeah.
mean, what has been the most memorable moment in your career so far for bare knuckle fighting?
What's that?
What was your most memorable moment so far in your career for bare knuckle fighting?
That was definitely it. It's gonna be kind of hard to top that one. I think I've got a lot of plans, and I think I've got a lot more special things to come. But that was a big one, man. I went to that guy's backyard. He was on BKFC showed him as a 9-1 favorite, but some places had him as all the way up to a 12-1 favorite over me. So I was the biggest underdog on the card, and to go out there in his backyard in his hometown, and put him out was pretty special. This is a guy that, like I said, he's 11-1 in pro MMA. So he's on the radar of all the biggest promotions out there, and you know, putting a halt to that was kind of cool.
No, that's really cool how you can uh, have fun actually as you're doing it. I mean, how did it feel knowing that someone like 50 Cent reacted to your record-breaking knockout?
That was wild, man. That night, Connor shared it like on his story on Instagram, and then a couple days later, 50 uh, did that edit on it, and yeah, that was wild, man. I was getting my phone was blowing up. As soon as I woke up, like, look at this, it's crazy.
Yeah, were you surprised on how much attention the knockout gained?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, this is one of the biggest organizations in the world, and us, they did something. There's been thousands of fights, and no one's ever been able to do that. So, I knew it was a special moment, and so I kind of expected it to do what it did.
No, it shows how impactful that moment was. And I just for the listeners, what we're talking about is Conor McGregor, and he is co-owner of the league that you're fighting in. How do you feel about him being a co-owner of the organization?
Uh, it's pretty cool, man. I'd like to talk to him. We haven't gotten speak yet, but yeah, I think he needs to give me a call. We need to talk about this knockout.
That's actually what I was thinking too. That record-breaking moment, guys gotta get connected and talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, two legends.
yeah, for sure. I think you know, he's somebody who's obviously got a massive following, so um, he could do huge things for my career. He could totally change my life if he would, you know, do something and collaborate with me or something like that. So that'd be really cool, man.
No, it would be really exciting to see two icons in the sports acknowledge each other.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, how does it feel knowing your record is now part of the combat sports history books?
Pretty awesome, man. It's gonna be a tough one to beat. Obviously, in bare knuckle we start a lot closer than in most sports, so that gave me the time to touch him a lot faster than most people are, and the referee did an amazing job calling it off. There was obviously no reason to count, but you'll see some fights where guys are asleep and the referee's still counting, and like that's where it really gets detrimental to your health. When you see boxing, you see guys who are completely out. They just get up somehow. They're still stumbling around, but then they let them go get hit again. That's one thing. With BKFC, it's not really happening. You're not seeing that as much. The referees are a lot more on the ball about the finishes and stuff, and not letting guys take damage that they don't need to be taken. It's just there's a lot of it can be a lot more detrimental, if it's not done responsibly.
Very true. I mean, you got one heck of a legacy there with that record. I mean, do you see moments like that help grow the sport?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, having, like you say, having 50 Cent share it, the thing got well over 50 million plays on just Instagram alone. I don't keep up with YouTube and the TikTok and all that stuff, but just on Instagram, between like 4 or 5 different posts, it did like 50 million views. So, it got a lot of eyeballs on the sport. So, I think they definitely should see that as being pretty impactful.
No, it's true. I mean, moments like those actually like evolve the bare knuckle fighting community, I would say. I mean, when you're not in the fighting or training, what do you usually do with your to unwind?
Like I said, I work a lot at this point. It's still, I'm not getting paid enough to just be able to train, unfortunately. So a lot of work. I have a kid and a girlfriend that take up the little bit of spare time that I have, but there's not a lot of it.
Are there any lessons from fighting that you bring into your everyday life?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the grit and the determination, are something that are two things that you can really apply to any aspect of life. Um, I've lost a lot in my career, and a lot of people would have quit and never made it to this point just based on those setbacks. But I get back up every time I fall and do better, and that's something that can help you out in all aspects of life. Obviously, in your career and relationships and in every aspect of life is don't give up. Just be persistent and go for what you want.
That's so inspiring, Justin. Has the media of the attention of your knockout changed anything in your career?
Not yet. No. Not as much as you would have imagined. So I mean, it's been 6 weeks. So I was hoping to have a new fight by now, something big lined up, and I haven't heard anything. It's a big company, busy company, so I know they got a lot of stuff going on, but hopefully they jump on it pretty quick before, obviously in this sport things are happening all the time, so there's gonna be another big knockout in a couple weeks. So before this one fades out, I hope they take care of me.
Now, looking back, did you ever imagine that 2 second knockout?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been visualizing it for 3 months coming into it, 2 months, 3 months coming into it. So I've watched that play out 100 times in my head over and over again. I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it just went perfectly according to plan. Like I say, everybody's got a plan when we go in there, and they usually don't go exactly how you want them to. They have never gone exactly like I wanted them to before, but this night all the stars aligned, and I wasn't losing that fight regardless of how it happened. It was going to be a brutal finish one way or the other. But like I said, I knew I needed to do something special to cement myself, and that you can't take this away from me now. Like, even if it does get beat in a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's probably the second fastest knockout of all time. Like, you're always going to be able to Google me and see this. So, that's pretty cool. There was articles written from Forbes magazine all the way to, the Jerusalem Post. Like it was crazy.
Now, if anyone can break that record, I know you. It's you.
I'm coming for it.
Now, what advice would you give to someone looking into breaking into the combat sports, bare knuckle fighting?
Um, to get into bare knuckle, it's a pretty new sport, obviously. So there hasn't really been a path to it other than MMA or boxing. You just kind of did one of those and go into it. But now, BKFC, Nelson Lopez has got the amateur series or the prospect series for amateurs. So basically, it's MMA gloves, like 7-ounce gloves. But it's just the same. All the rules apply still as with bare knuckle. They just have a glove on because they're still amateurs. But that gives them a way to get some fights and work their way up and be used to the rule set, used to the ring, and all those things, and then go straight into bare knuckle from that. So, I think find a good boxing gym if you're somebody out there looking for it. Find a good boxing gym in your area, and if bare knuckle is what you want to get into, check out the prospect series, and there's tryouts all the time. You can get on a tryout and get on prospects card and work your way on up.
That's such valuable advice. I mean, it's clear that you learned a lot of lessons throughout your experiences. I mean, how do you stay motivated during your tough times in your career?
Uh, it's a lot easier, now having a kid. Like when I was younger, it was a lot easier to let disappointment just cause me to quit or not quit, but slow down, or lose motivation. But having a daughter, having a person that relies on you, uh, you can't quit. You have to keep going. So, um, I just look at that. And I've had a couple of losses in the last year and a half. Some really close people to me that passed away and way before their time, And so seeing life be taken from them and opportunities taken away from them, it really inspired me to just not waste any time, like not, I don't know, I've never given it everything I had. I don't think, I've always, had my foot halfway in, until about a year ago. And when the stuff started happening and, you see, like one of them it was a little girl, 8 years old, one of my closest friends, his daughter passed away from cancer, and, the opportunities that she'll never have now, and so, it's really just opened my eyes to not take advantage of, not let any opportunity pass you by, to take advantage of every opportunity that you have and, um, you know, make something of it every day.
No, it's so inspiring to see how you push through your challenges. What's next for you in your fighting career?
Not sure, man. Waiting for a contract. Hopefully we get something soon. I want to fight, sooner rather than later, obviously. I would like to focus full time on fighting for the next couple of years. I don't have a ton of time left, in the sport. I'm 37 going on 38. So, I need to get in and get as much done as possible, make as many waves as I can, um, in the next 3 or 4 years. So, I'm trying to fight the best guys in the world. A lot of times you see guys who, kind of kick their opponents. You'll have guys who are in the top 5, top 10 in the world who are still fighting guys who are, shouldn't even be on that level. And they're just kind of building their record up. And I'm not one of those guys. I want to fight the best in the world, and I know that I belong with those guys, and I'm just ready to prove it.
No, it's incredible to hear how much these moments mean to you. I mean, it's just not a record; it's a legacy that you built.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Just that, man. I guess just don't quit, and you know, don't slow down. I guess is there was a time when I was younger that I should have been here a long time ago, but there's things that happened in life, and that slowed me down, slowed the process down, and there were lessons that I probably needed to learn in order to be where I'm at now, in order to be able to take advantage of this. But I would probably just tell myself, you are meant to do this. This don't, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people saying, you need to focus on a career. You need to do this or do that. But I think I would have told myself, go for your dreams. You can figure something else out if it doesn't work, but chase your dreams with everything, and you'd be surprised what happens.
That's perfectly put. I mean, go chase your dreams because your dreams will not chase you. What's one thing you hope people remember you by?
Um, the the persistence, the determination, the perseverance, the spirit of just not giving in. No matter what happens, I believe in myself. And I'm willing to do anything. Go against the best in the world to show that I'm one of them.
No, so true. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned in the past year?
Um, I think probably, like I say, the just kind of not letting opportunities pass you by, not letting a day go by. You just don't know. I mean, like I say, this little girl that I mentioned, Roswell, she got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Went through the battle, went through chemo and all that stuff, and went into remission. They couldn't find any cancer left in her. We thought everything was going to be great, and then a couple months go by, and it came back, and within 3 or 4 months, she was gone. And then my the other one was my cousin, my best friend my whole life. We lived 5 minutes away from each other our entire lives. He was 2 years older than me, and just my best friend my whole life. Everything that I've done, he's been there. And right before I made my debut with BKFC in 2013, he went to the hospital for just a routine procedure. They flipped up, messed up, did some stuff wrong, and he ended up getting sepsis and going into a coma and didn't make it out. 2 daughters, um, 5 and 7, and you know, just seeing those things happen really it just inspired me and told me, it's now or never. You got to, don't half-ass anything. You have to give it 100%, because you don't know that you're going to be able to do it later. Like it's always easy to look up and say, you know, I've got plenty of time. I got this going on right now, and that's what I'm focusing on. But later, I'll do, what I want, whatever. But you don't know that. I mean, neither one of those people we're supposed to be gone. They're supposed to be here right now. Like, there's no reason for them to not be with us today, but they're not. And so I want to chase my dream, and and then just use them to inspire other people. It's easy to there's only so far that you'll go for yourself. A person, there's only so far that I'm going to go to for my own happiness or for my own gratification or whatever. But when I get in there and I know that I'm fighting because they can't fight for what they want, you're gonna have to kill me to get me out of there. Like, I'm not gonna stop. Um, that's powerful. It's a dangerous man to be standing across from. So whoever's in there next, they're gonna have the same fate the last one did.
How can the audience support your journey?
Follow me on everything BK_Warmonger, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok and stuff that much, but starting to get into it a little bit. So yeah, anybody wants to go follow me, shoot me a message. Love talking to people. So that'd be cool.
Is there anything else you want to share with the fans or the listeners today?
Um, I think we've pretty much covered it, man. Just keep an eye out. Um, just keep this thing going, keep this thing growing. Follow me, and let's go to the top.
You have any shout outs you want to shout out anyone?
My team, man, my coaches, sponsors. Tennessee Hemp Care is my major sponsor. They've been with me for a really long time, and they've taken care of me. Hat Creek Customs, they do custom car restorations. A really good spot. I've got 4 or 5 other sponsors. Those are my main two. But if you go to my Instagram or any of that stuff, there's posts about all of them. So go support all those people for sure. And we'll be back soon. And if anybody wants to jump on board and join the team, give me a message. We'll get your logo out there and get it on a big stage and have millions of eyeballs on it.
Justin, thank you so much for joining me today. Your story of the world of bare knuckle fighting has been incredible. I mean, I can't wait to see what's next for you. To the listeners, thank you for tuning into Every Day is Friday. And until next time.
Single day.